Hi, this is Gabriel from Tatu. We are a hardware company based in Brazil, and we are set to do some crazy new machines. And today I want to present you ARA, our drum sequencer. And the first thing that I want to tell you is that here we don't believe in creating those all-in-one super flexible groove boxes, but rather we want to create machines that resemble a language. I know this sounds absurd, but the idea is that in a language you have this fixed set of words. Here we have a fixed set of actions, and a language is not like infinitely versatile. If you want to do something, you have to compose words. And as you speak, as you live, as you develop your own perception on the world, you assign meaning to the words. And that's something we really believe here. So I want you to assign meaning to the actions you can do on our machines. And when you play a set, is the same way as you would write a text. That is something only you with your life could have done. It's not something that is infinitely versatile in the meaning that each week you change how you operate, you change how you make music. This is not for everybody. We know that. We know that we are trying to when we work like this, we are forced to face our own actions, our own choices, and that is a way to grow, the only way we believe. So this might not be for everyone, but it's if this is for you, this is really growing on me. I started to feel much more connected to the hardware, and the hardware stopped being like some sort of source of inspiration, and it just stopped being a hassle, you know? It's just saying things. So I want to show you how this works. Just a side note, this is also ours. This is a MIDI gateway. It's called Alligator. The first version I wrote Alligator wrong, so I had a new batch. If you want to know more about this thing, let us know. This is just a MIDI interface to connect with Peep, because in the end of this video, I want to do a live performance thing with this very fun setup, which is just some drum rack connected here and the peak playing some acid patch, and it's really fun. Okay, so let's go to ARA. Here we have 8 instruments that we can see at the same time, but there are 32 instruments that we can program in a patch. This is a standalone thing, but it is also an Ableton control surface. As an Ableton control surface, it's really practical because if someone removes the cable accidentally during a set or something like that, the sequence doesn't stop working and you don't get any kind of synchrony issues, you know? So this is really practical for live sets based on Ableton. But if you're working on this alone, you're programming some sort of hardware, we do have MIDI input and output, and each of the instruments is independent, so the sequence length is independent. So you can have really crazy polyrhythms like that. Its main focus is you have your right hand here, and you do some sort of chords to change what you can do with the instruments. That way, like programming way faster rhythms directly on what you want to do. Each of the instruments has 64 steps, and each step can be on-off or accented. And here you have the volume for each of the instruments. And we have the pages here. The pages also allow us to select instrument banks or the page of the steps themselves. So I think that's pretty much it. Let's take a look on this closer up here, and I'll show you.
Okay, so these are the 8 instruments I have programmed in Ableton. I have this first one selected, which is a kick drum, and we're going to program a rhythm for it. So I'm just going to be sure that the sequence has 16 steps and program these steps. Real easy. Now the second instrument is a closed hat, and I could just program a rhythm like this, but that's not what I want to do. So I'm just gonna set the sequence length to 4 steps and program a way smaller rhythm, which is way easier, like that. Now I can just get this sequence and duplicate it over. I'm gonna put an accent here and duplicate it. We have another hat, wider. This one is an open hat. Lower its volume a bit. Now I have this right here. I could program it like this, but if I'm performing in front of a lot of people, I don't really have the time to do this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute it first, and then program its rhythm, and then I'm gonna just unmute it at once. So program it here, and I'm gonna put accent here, 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 and here, and now here we go. If I click mute and don't press anything, it locks onto mute for easier performance, like this. I'm gonna program a tone pattern here and put some accent. Now I'm gonna mute it, the clap, punch it in, and unmute these, lock the mute, and clap's a bit loud. Cool, right? So we have 4 pages here to work. We're in the first one. I'm duplicating it. I'm gonna duplicate it again, so we have 2 pages. I'm in the second page. I'm gonna program an extra step for the kick. I'm gonna duplicate it again. And in the 4th page, I'm gonna add 2 steps. Cool, right? Kind of thing that never fails. I'm gonna go back to the first page and to just a single page. We also have 4 simultaneous banks, and we can change between them with shift. Here we have some conga. And here we have this cowbell. Going back to the first bank, I'm gonna mute these instruments. Pretty cool, right? Muting everything in. Here in the second bank. That's it. Now let's have a jam.